This is Pro Series Off Topic.
Welcome back to Pro Series Off Topic, episode 127 here. If you missed Pro Series this week, you missed 2 episodes this week instead of 1. I'll read them off to you. First up, episode 208 that came out on Tuesday, From Startups to $10 million in E-Commerce Secrets with Matt Stafford. We talk all about e-commerce. I didn't know anything about this world, so it was really cool learning a lot about his background and kind of just the whole e-commerce site and kind of how he got started, because it's kind of crazy what he was selling in college online. That it was actually Facebook that got him in his entrepreneurial spirit. And then next up on Friday, I had an episode 209. It was From Startup Unicorns, Vincent Wanga, a creative leadership design of innovation. He's really done everything. He's an international interior designer down in Washington, D.C. Great episode. So if you missed either of those, go back and check them out. Even if you're not in either of those industries, you're going to learn a lot. Again, 2 more podcasts coming out this week. I'm just doing it for this month for now. Maybe it's going to be a permanent thing. I'm not sure, but I had so many in my back pocket that if I kept them in my back pocket, I would have them for, going into the new year. And I did not want to do that. It wasn't fair to my guests to have so many in my back pocket that were so delayed due to how many I had. So stay tuned to that. It'll probably be coming out Tuesday and Friday. I'll give a little bit more gap. Actually, I think it came out with Wednesday and Friday, and I think those were too close. So I'm gonna do Tuesday and Friday next week. So stay tuned to that. But let's get into episode 127 of Off Topic. A lot of country music. Country music is becoming another whole part of my social media. People ask me all the time, why are you posting so much of country music? And I'm like, look at my analytics, because I'm getting so much more in like just everything with the country music content that I'm putting out. And I love it because it's a hobby of mine and it's something I am so interested in. And I've always just woken up on Friday mornings and just listened to every single country music song and album that came out that day. So it is perfect in my opinion. It's like, no, it's not work. It's fun to do. So let's get into the first main topic, into social media. If you're skipping alt text, half of your audience is skipping you. And if you do not know what alt text is, I am going to explain it here. This is for Instagram. You may know people talk about alt text all the time and how hashtags are gone and alt texts are in. It is a very SEO driven, keyword driven type of thing. And it's basically describing a photo, but I'll tell you exactly what it's used for. It's accessibility, it's screen readers, read it out loud so people who are blind and visibly impaired can understand what the image shows. And that's what it was originally made for. But now that Instagram is used on Google and it's part of a Google search and it's just an online search in general, it's an SEO is what a online search is, if you're wondering. So it's a search engine used in the understanding of images, which can boost your content visibility, which is the main reason why you need to be using it right now. Especially, I mean, put that aside, accessibility, you should be doing that already. But this is another reason why you should be doing the alt text and why it's just blowing up content right now. And a backup, if an image doesn't load and the alt text shows it's in a place, people could still know what it's about. So, example, if you have an image of a golden retriever running on a beach, the alt text would say golden retriever running through the waves on a sunny beach. You're basically describing exactly what you're seeing in the photo. So I mean, I use ChatGPT a lot, ask for SEO driven keywords, and use that for my alt text. You can even put the post in ChatGPT, say, hey, give me the keywords, or that will be optimizing my SEO search. Put that into ChatGPT, but make sure you're saying it's for alt text because it's going to probably come out with a caption, and you do not want it to sound like a caption. You want it to be very descriptive. So make sure you're doing that. I do that every week on all my content now. You can't do it on Reels because a reel video, it's usually captions or it's taking the voice, whichever's in there, and it's making the alt text for you. But you need to be doing it for anything static, so carousel posts or just a singular post. You need to be doing it for. So if you do not know how to get into that, when you're going to the post, it is in advanced settings all the way at the bottom. So if you're in the setting where it shows the photo, the caption, the geotagging, so like your location, hiding likes, hiding views, all that stuff, go down to extended settings, click on that and scroll all the way to the bottom. You'll see alt text, and you're able to do it to each photo if it's a carousel. And if it's one photo, it will just show up as the one photo. So make sure you're doing that. Use ChatGPT. Make sure you're asking it to make alt text for Instagram that is very SEO driven, to allow your content to, get more followers. I've been doing it for so long now, and especially with my country content I've been putting out, the amount of non-followers to followers is crazy. And I think that's my goal now on social media. And that's what I've been focusing on. I've been just trying to be seen by as many non-followers than my followers. And, if your followers don't engage for so long, that's a whole other story. But that's all I wanted to say for that. Let's get into the new music of the week. Again, every Saturday I've been putting out new content for the new music of the week and what I've liked, and let's go through it. I've already explained some of it, but we'll go further into detail on it here on the podcast that I couldn't do in written form. First up, Jason Aldean came out with a new song called "How Far Does a Goodbye Go?" A very highly anticipated song. It is so different from anything he has written and or sang. I don't know if he written this song, but um, that's not necessarily a bad thing because his last single, whiskey drink, I didn't like in the beginning, but towards the end of the summer it was like on every playlist of mine. So take that into a grain of salt, but it's just something completely different. And that's not bad because I feel like Jason Aldean is one of those artists that sings about the same stuff all the time. So it is kind of nice to have a new sound and new kind of topic to listen to. Next up, Jamie Johnson and Ronnie Dunn came out with a song called Never Gonna Be. Great song. I heard or I read that this song was written 15 years ago, I think by Ronnie and someone else. And also, it was for Jamie, and they never released it until now. And I'm so glad they did because this song desperately needed that traditional country sound to it to really get the message across, or just I feel like it would fail the song as like what it's written and what it means. So I'm so glad they waited until now because I feel like we're in an area of country music where we're really focusing on the traditional sound and really respecting that. So perfect time for this song to come out. Next up, Zach Bryan came out with a live version from Jersey with Bruce Springsteen and Kings of Leon from one of Bruce Springsteen's biggest songs, Atlantic City. Great song. They all sound great together. I bet you the stadium was insane going through this. It's cool because Zach Bryan has had songs with both Kings of Leon and Bruce Springsteen. So having them together was, I think, is a really cool thing. So go check that out. Warren Zyder came up with a new single called Only Bible. Very different from what he has. Yes, he has that screaming, that screech that he does in the song. And I'm so glad he does it in the song because it really cuts deep during the chorus. But starts off so slow and meaningfully. And I think that makes a song, but it's also makes me excited about seeing what his new direction of his new music was or will be. And then honorable mention I had this week was the song Dent by Danielle Bradbury. She's an artist that I've spoken about many times on this podcast. She is very underrated, not just in the country space, but in, I think, music in general. As female vocalist, her voice is insane. If you have not listened to her song Worth It, go check that out. She has a version, it's just her vocals, and it is absolutely insane. So go check that out. I think Dent is going to be the song that country radio actually grabs onto and allows it to do well on. I think she hasn't really had that hit yet. And it's sad. She was on The Voice probably over 10 years ago at this point, and so talented and had so many songs. It's just insane that she hasn't really made it big yet. So hopefully this is it. George Burge came out with a new song called My Bad. It's very southern rock, almost like 2000s rock meets country music, and I love it. George Burge's music is just awesome. He seems like he's making his own path through country music, which I really do respect. And then Tyler Halverson, artist I've never heard of, but I love this when they come out the song with an artist that we all love and I'm a fan of, and it was Parker McCollum. and it makes me go down a rabbit hole of that new artist and hearing with their story and then hearing the rest of their discography. But this song is called Beer Garden Baby. Reminds me a lot of Limestone Cowboy, and if you're not a Parker McCollum fan, that was Parker's his first album back in 2015, and maybe that's why he had him on this song. But it reminds me of Limestone Cowboy so much. Go check that out. It's called Beer Garden Baby. The number one song of this week for me was from Rodney Atkins called Hell of It. It is a tongue twister in a good way. It makes you want to like know the words, so like it's impressive to know all the words when it comes on the radio. But Rodney Atkins doesn't come out with a lot of music anymore, but when he does, it's always a hit. And he just every single time I see his name, I just remember the 2000s because he had some huge hits growing up, especially like me being in like middle school, high school-ish area. But great artist. Go check that out. It's called Hell of It. Next up, Keith Urban came out with another live version of his hit Till Summer Comes Around from his High and Alive World Tour. I love these. He's one of those artists that has so many hits. You tend to forget some of them, and this is one of the ones I forgot about. So I'm so glad he came out with this because what made me go back and listen to the original again. Um, and then for albums this week, my second runner up for album of the week was with Jake Worthington with this album called When I Write the Song, an album that didn't see coming, and honestly, I haven't heard much from Jake. But he had a song that caught me off guard when I was downloading all my music, and it was called "Hello S.E. Day." You know the swear word. I'm not swearing on here, guys, because you're basically gonna ruin my life if I put that on there. So, but it's with Miranda Lambert, and it is such a good song, and that got me wanting to listen to the rest of the album. It's a 14 record album, and it's good. It's traditional. It makes you feel like when I was listening to it, I felt like I knew all the songs, but I didn't. It's all original stuff, but it made me feel like I was listening to 90s country radio back in the day because it was his voice, the production, everything was perfect. So go check that out. It's Jake Worthington, and the album's called When I Write That Song. And my number one album of the week was from Jack Blocker. If you don't remember him, he came third in American Idol season 22 back in 2024. Changed so much from his audition to the end. He was rock and he did so many different genres, but now he's kind of made roots in country music, and this is his very first album off of country music, and it's called The Land on Most High, and it's absolutely great album. 10 songs. Some of the standouts are Lone Star, Worth His Salt, If Heaven Looks Like Arkansas. All of it's just so good, so traditional, and I love it. And his voice is so cool. You might start listening to a song and he just sounds like any other guy on country radio, but keep listening because he has an incredible voice. But that's all I have this week for new country music. I'm gonna give you a sneak peek and I keep saying this every week. It's a sneak peek, but really, it's not a sneak peek because I'm gonna be posting what I'm about to talk about tomorrow, which is Sunday, and I'm posting the podcast on Monday. So I don't know why I keep doing this to myself. But I want to get into the country hits that were actually covers. Some of these actually blew my mind. That I knew I didn't know this about any of this stuff. But I want to get into it. First up, this is the one that really threw me for a loop, and that is "Bless the Broken Road" by the Rascal Flats, and that's not originally theirs. It is originally from the Nitty Gritty Band in 1994 and Marcus Humus in 1995. So this is the third time it's been released. And Rascal Flatts version hit number one Billboard Hot Country Songs chart and won a Grammy for Best Country Song. It also became one of the most popular wedding songs in country music ever. Crazy. Next up, I already knew this one, but it's To Make You Feel My Love by Garth in 1998. It was originally Bob Dylan song, wrote and recorded it for the time Out of My Mind in 1997, and then Billy Joel released it his own that same year, 1997. Then Garth was on Hope Float's soundtrack and became the top 10 country hit Fun fact, it is one of the few songs Dylan's songs embrace so strongly in the Nashville world. Also, Adele came out with a version of it, and I believe in 2011 off of her first album. Um, so it's been remade multiple times. Next up, When You Say Nothing at All, I think of Alison Krauss from 1995, but it was originally a Keith Whitley version, and his version hit #1 in 1988, and then Alison Krauss and Union Station covered it for a tribute album, but radio stations picked it up, and it became a first major hit for her, and many younger fans discovered the song from Krauss instead of Whitley. It's been covered so many times over the years, and I think it's just like that go-to song that a lot of artists go to. And then The Thunder Rolls. You all think Garth Brooks from 1991? Nope. It was actually Tana Tucker first recorded the song, but shelved it, so it never was released. Garth released it on No Fences, and it became a #1 hit. The music video was controversial, depicting domestic violence, and was banned from CMT, making it even more legendary. It is one of those music videos, and I will make a post later on, like what are my favorite music videos or most epic music videos, and this is definitely on the list. Um, and next up, I Swear by John Michael McGovern, 1994. It was originally an R&B group, All for One, released it around the same time in 1994. Montgomery's version was #1 country hit for 4 weeks, while All for One's topped the pop charts globally. Rare case where two very different versions of that same song were smash hits all at the same time. Crazy. And then that's it, actually. I was gonna put some more on there, but some of the other ones, like, and I'll go through them. Like Tennessee Whiskey, I think everybody knew that was a cover from Chris Stapleton. That was actually covered 2 times. Life is a Highway, no brainer. It's not a Rascal Flatts song. It's a Tom Cochrane song. And then Heads Carolina, Tails California. Obviously, it's a Jody Messina song, not Cole Swindell. And then The Dance by Garth Brooks. I guess that's not one that everybody knew about, but Tony Arata wrote and performed it for a small venue before Garth actually recorded it. But crazy stuff. That's all we have this week for episode 127. Remember, 2 episodes last week you need to catch up on for Pro Series, and then 2 next week. So stay tuned. But other than that, hope you have a great rest of the week.